confirmed that Brad is in the health and safety protocols. Did he experience any kind of symptoms that necessitated the test?
As far as I know, mild symptoms, and just out of caution decided to get tested. So right now, in the NBA protocol, we'll just have to await results and then go from there.
But he did have a positive test.
He had a positive, then he had a negative, and I think that's where it gets into the gray area. So we're just following NBA guidelines. Assuming protocol, and then wait for him to get the PCR test results back. Then we can kind of move to the next phase.
Yeah, the way it works is if a guy has symptoms, they gotta kind of speak up.
But it should, yeah.
Yeah. So how has that been? I guess this is your guys' first go around with that level.
Yeah, I mean, I think you take a guy for his word. Obviously you want to be a good citizen, good teammate. You don't want to pass it along. But if you're feeling sick, you want to, of course, let the medical staff know, and then they can take the necessary steps. But I didn't think it was anything beyond just mild symptoms.
Obviously, the most important thing is that everyone is safe and healthy. Apart from that, have you guys seen enough of Brad and KP together in practice here?
There's never enough. I mean, I say that jokingly. Ideally, it's not the situation we prefer. It's just the reality that we have to navigate through. And knock on wood, if we're going to have to go through it, it's good to at least it's this time of year, not when the games count. But we've got enough bodies, and we'll have guys plug and play. So we'll be all right.
Speaking of that, Johnny, can he be ruled out for tomorrow?
No, we can't. He actually went through a full practice today, full contact. And we'll see how he responds. I'm not going to jump the gun, but he looked really good. As far as his movements, they'll test him obviously this afternoon and see how he responds. But so far, so good.
Denny ruled out?
Yes. Denny was a partial participant. Was able to do a little bit more. Still not 5-on-5 contact. Was able to do 3-on-3 contact with coaches. The plan hopefully tomorrow is to get him more contact versus players.
Is there anybody else caught up in contact tracing or anything like that?
No, there is no really contact tracing now that under the new guidelines.
Make sure I heard you correctly, because I guess I'm hard of hearing in my old age. No, you're all good, all good. Denny will not play tomorrow.
That is correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
You didn't have the E10 guys with you in Japan, right? So will they see a lot more? Will they see some playing time?
They will travel with us, but there is potential for them to get some minutes. Obviously, third game of the preseason with only 4 total. We were trying to get our main guys more minutes, but with Brad out, there's a hole that has to be filled. So we'll figure that out and allocate those minutes accordingly. But we can get them in, great. I think they're ready. They've shown good stretches in practice. They've really pushed our guys to compete. So it's been a good thing to see. It's a good experience for them.
Coach, the preseason game coming up, what are some things you want to build on and looking to see tomorrow?
More carryover. I think we had a long film session this morning after a lengthy scrimmage yesterday. There's some good and there's a lot of bad. So just cleaning those things up and making sure we're getting carryover in those areas.
Monte said he's seen Brad, Kuz, him speak up. How has that been? It seems like a smooth transition to Monte's testimony. How have you seen him just feel comfortable?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's easy when a guy has relationships. He's known Kuz for years. He's a guy who hadn't been in the league that long, but he's well liked around the league. So he's built relationships and established relationships. Obviously, he knows myself and Will. So there's, I'm sure, a comfort level. But as a point guard, you should feel, emboldened to speak up. Organize your group, hold guys accountable. That comes with position. So I'm not surprised he's doing it. It's a good sign to see.
How did Denny look in the 3-on-3 on Friday?
He looked good. Obviously, conditioning aside, moving well, shot the ball well. He just got to build up his wind a little bit.
And when you say that you hope to get him more contact tomorrow, presumably shoot around, not a lot of contact?
No, not for the guys who are playing, but we'll keep some guys back and allow him to get after it a bit.
So Denny will not travel?
No, he'll travel, but we'll do that after the shoot-around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Been held back by not having the chance to participate fully in practice and play in the first three, what will be now the first three preseason?
I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, I think he's got a better understanding than he did last season. You know, he missed most, if not all, of training camp last year. So it's not a good thing, but the reality is, you know, he's nursing an injury that requires some time. And if you push him beyond his threshold now, does that create an issue later? I'd rather just make sure he's good to go and fully ramped up. Even if he's behind a little bit, you know, schematically, then you know he'll fast track that with some of the corporate knowledge he's had from last season.
Monte said that he's got to get back into sort of the traditional point guard mode because in Denver it was so unusual.
Yeah,
so many things ran through Jokic. As someone who could speak to that probably pretty well, how have you seen that process for him?
Well, I think he's done a terrific job with that. I know that sentiment. Jokic is a unique player, and he's going to garner a lot of attention. And essentially, he's like a point center, so takes a lot of pressure off a traditional guard as the offense flows through him, you know, the vast majority of the time. For Monte, it's not only just learning our play calls, and a lot of them are similar in spacing. We just call it something different, but organizing the group, and I think he has a good feel for what's needed in that moment. But for him to have the ball, you know, a lot more now than he used to is probably, you know, a bit of a change.
I know it's unique for a center his size to do that, but how unique is it around the league for the offense to run through not the point guard?
I think more frequent now than years past. I mean, there aren't a ton of true diehard point guards. They're the guys who play league guard positions. A lot of those guys are score first, attack guards. They're playing to their strength. You know, they're scorers at heart, and they have the ball in their hands. So they're going to make the right play, but they're thinking, you know, score the ball, and if I can't, then I'll facilitate. Monte is one of those probably throwback guys where he's just looking to get guys involved, keep the flow, keep us organized. But he's shown that he can score the ball when needed. Not afraid of the moment. He'll step up and make big plays.
How useful was it to you to have those laid-back seats on the flight back and to Japan?
Oh yeah, no, it was great. You mean the seats that we can? I mean, I'm still way too tall for those seats,
Yeah,
so I was still kind of like this, but I was able to get some sleep. Yeah, so no complaints.
Yeah, I'm a little short guy, and I had problems. You know.
Yeah, no, it was fine. I mean, we were good. Yeah.
How do you see this next game for Johnny Davis? It sounds like he's going to play, and Brad's out. It seems like maybe a pretty good opportunity for him before the season starts.
Yeah, I think so. He needs to take that opportunity. You know, I know after last game in Japan, you know, it left a bad taste in our mouth. You know, the way the fourth quarter ended. We're playing pretty good for 3 quarters, and I know that at least that has to burn the young guys that they were playing in that moment. That has to give them some fire in the belly, and hopefully it does that for Johnny, and he bounces back and plays well, plays aggressively this game, and that's what we're hoping that, you know, he goes out there and does.
How was the scrimmage on Friday?
Friday, what's the day? So it was yesterday? No, Friday. Yeah. That was a good one. 3 quarters, play hard. Brad looked incredible. Brad was playing out of his mind, as you know, he always does. I just finally see him also like locked in, and we were going at it, and it was competitive. Yeah, it was a good one. Couple of situations that got my belly burning also, so I could tell that everybody was into it, and he got the juices going for us, you know, to prepare for us for these games coming up.